Hi Hope. I'm sitting here at the corner of 111 and 285 looking up at the ranch, and I'm going to head down the road here and take a look at your suggestions for a new entry into the school section. I've stopped here at 1.5 miles, and I think this was the old gate that was covered up a long time ago, if I remember our discussions. So I want to make sure that this is not the spot that you were talking about, but I think this is the old gate entrance, because there's the land up through that canyon a little bit to the east of where I am right now. 1.7 miles. I believe this is your marker on the reflector at the side of the road. And then I go around here and it looks like you've got a marker down here on the fence line. And we're close to the entrance to the canyon. So I assume that you'd have to go down here and drop into this first arroyo and then go back up the arroyo on the other side. Although you may be able to go down in here and up over the top. Alright, we got this. Now I'm at 2.2 miles and I have found the turnoff here. We're going to take a drive down this and see what we think of it. So I've made it down to the power lines, and we'll follow this back up along the power line till we see where it would make sense to cut back into the canyon, which is right up there. Okay, I'm at the fence line down here after I've taken the little southern bend away from the power line, so I'm headed back north again. We're going to drop into this arroyo and see how this works. Now I've made it to the fence line here. Turn around, looking south back to the highway, power line right there. We just went through that arroyo. I wouldn't want to do it in a two-wheel drive, but it was not an issue for the blue truck. And see the road proceeds on here down the power line, and we're right here on what's we're on the section south of the ranch, but this is probably the eastern boundary. If we went straight north, this would be the eastern boundary of the school section. So to get to this point on this road is a huge improvement over the other way. I'm not sure. I think that's the turnout right over there. So that's just opposite of this. It is on the other side of the big arroyo. Not sure yet which would be the simple. That certainly would be shorter. That's about 300 yards over there. And this is probably a half mile in. But this is a giant improvement over coming in from the other end. So you made good progress here. We'll talk about it. Adios. Now I've actually come up further from the last picture there at the fence line, and I'm at the major arroyo here. I'm looking due west, and this in fact is where the other turnoff, well, the original turnoff would have been, where you can see that white truck up there parked. That's the old one that they closed off. So I'm back fairly close to that, and this is where you enter the arroyo, turn, and go on up to the property. And we know this road from here, mostly driving through the arroyo and on up to the school section. So this is again, still a huge improvement, much easier to get in here, much easier to show the property, and frankly you don't have to do a thing at this point, I guess. Although it would be nice that at some point if somebody owned this, they'd probably want to scrape it out and see whether they could cut off this last section, go across down that national forest fence line, and then go in instead of making this dog leg down this way. Now I've backtracked back to that fence line. and gone north. We're up here closer to the entrance to the canyon, and I found just past an old corral here another open gate, and I'm going to explore across on this because this is going to be a much more direct route to get up to the land. In just a short drive, we're in the arroyo, probably at least a quarter of a mile north of where we would have been if we'd have gone all the way down under the power lines and then dropped in. So this is an even shorter access here, and I'll measure this back out from where we were at the arroyo down below where we came in. That was 7/10 of a mile back to the highway. So I'm going to reset from this point and see what the distance is from here. Well, we're back at the highway from that last spot that we were at. It's 8/10 of a mile out there. And we were, let's see whether we can see exactly where we were. Just about, try to get to the point here where I can see the fence line. Shoot out the window here. And the distance is the corral. We were right out just due north right now. So that's it, Hope. Headed back south. Interesting, good work on your part. It's sure a heck of a lot easier to get in there that way, and you know, kind of more typical four-wheeling as opposed to going up that arroyo for miles. So I will give you a call and we'll talk about it and go from there. Adios.